Hi everybody, Sean Barlow here, and today I'd like to take a few minutes to talk to you about becoming an organ donor. Now imagine, if you will, that your child was born with an inoperable liver tumor, or one of your parents is diagnosed with heart disease, or you yourself sustain an injury to the eye that could possibly leave you blind. Well, there are many stories like these, and what I have listed are true stories that have happened to people. You can find them at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services website, organdonor.gov. But you can also find out that there is hope for recovery through organ donation. Now, I'm in no way involved with the organ donation process or any companies. However, I am a strong advocate of the process. And I have seen in my personal experience while I was in the military the positive outcomes that can come from organ and tissue donation. My wife also works with families of donors and recipients, so I have a little experience there. And today, after listening to my speech, my hope is that you'll be able to make a confident decision to become an organ donor by understanding the benefits of becoming an organ donor, the process of organ donation, and how to become an organ donor. So let's start off by talking about why we need organ and tissue donors. According to the United Network of Organ Sharing, approximately 118,000 people are currently awaiting life-saving organ transplant surgeries. But so far in 2017, only 11,000 surgeries have been completed from 5,200 donors. So what does this mean? That means that every day roughly 22 people die while waiting on the list, and a new person is added every 10 minutes. And while the Department of Health and Human Services says that 90% of Americans polled believe in organ donation, only 50% will sign up. Now, there are those that oppose organ donation, and they cite a plethora of reasons, including moral and religious implications, that it's dangerous to be a donor, and that there's corruption among the doctors and drug companies and procurement organizations involved in the organ donation process. But with a little bit of research, most of these, if not all, can be debunked almost immediately. Some people may think that donating is against their religion. However, according to the Department of Health and Human Services, most religions see it as an act of love, including Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, and Buddhism. Some people, such as Dr. Paul A. Byrne, believe that becoming an organ donor is dangerous, because doctors won't work as hard to save your life in the hopes that you'll experience brain death and they'll be able to harvest organs faster for other people. However, doctors are bound by the American Medical Association's Code of Medical Ethics, and the suspicions of such an act would lead to their almost immediate loss of license to practice. So now that we've addressed the problem and dispelled some of the most common myths, let's talk about a possible solution, and that's getting more people to register by helping them understand the benefits of being an organ donor, the organ donation process, and how to sign up to be a donor. So let's talk about the benefits of being an organ donor. One organ donor has the ability to supply 8 life-saving organs, including liver, kidneys, lungs, intestines, pancreas, and heart. They can also restore the sight to 2 people through cornea donation, and improve the quality of life for up to 75 people through tissue donation, which includes heart valves, skin, and bone, to name a few. And while these benefits may not be monetary, you can take solace in knowing that you're going to have a lasting impact on the lives of so many others. The organ donation process may seem a little daunting, or maybe even a little convoluted, but if you look into it, it's really quite simple. So upon your passing, your family will be notified by the authorities, such as police or hospital staff, but they will also contact an organ procurement organization such as SightLife here in Seattle. SightLife would then contact your next of kin to go through a medical and social history to ensure that you still qualify to be an organ donor. Once your family has had a chance to say goodbye, they dispatch a special team of organ procurement specialists to recover your organs and tissues, so on. These organs and tissues will then be tested and matched with those who need them the most, and distributed as necessary. Your family will be kept up to date all along the way as to the number of people that you've helped, and sometimes they even get to meet their families. So how do you become an organ donor? Well, it's easy, and there are several ways you can do this. The easiest way is just to say yes while you're at your DMV getting your driver's license. You can always go to www.organdonor.gov/register and fill out the 2 to 3 minute questionnaire. Then there's the living will. This is just a legal document that lets doctors know what to do in the case of your passing. So why will this solution work? Well, it's simple math, really. The higher the number of viable organs available through donation, the more that people in need can receive them. According to the Organ Procurement and Transplantation Network of the Department of Health and Human Services, in 2016 there were a record 33,600 transplant surgeries conducted. This is directly related to the fact that there were a record number of donors that year as well. The one drawback to having more registered donors is that when people know that they're going to donate upon their death, less people are likely to register to be living donors. So now that you have the information, let's think about the consequences of either becoming an organ donor or not becoming an organ donor. Suppose you decide to become an organ donor and you've discussed your intent with your family prior to your passing. The process goes smoothly and your organs are donated as needed. You've indirectly saved the lives of 8 people through your organs, restored sight to 2, and reduced the suffering of dozens more. However, if you decide not to become an organ donor and your family is also aware of that intent, you have indirectly caused the death of 8 people that were waiting for those vital organs. You've left 2 people blind because they couldn't receive your corneas, and you've caused the prolonged suffering of dozens more that needed your tissues. This may seem overly simplified, but is it really? We can save or improve the quality of life for so many others by becoming organ donors. And we can save or help so many more by getting other people to sign up to be donors as well. And we can do this by educating them about the benefits of being an organ donor, the organ donation process, and how to become an organ donor. So talk to your family and friends about becoming donors. If you can get just one more person to sign up to be an organ donor, you'd be helping dozens of people. Make sure you talk to your children about becoming organ donors when they get older. By talking to them early, this prevents them from growing up with a stigma around organ donation. So in closing, I'd like to say that we all have the chance to make this world a little bit brighter by putting aside our differences and focusing on doing things that we can to help our fellow man. And this includes organ and tissue donation. Again, I'm Sean Barlow, and I hope you've learned a lot from our talk today. But above all else, I hope that you'll go out as soon as you can and register to be an organ donor.